Everything seems to be working. Does that work? All right, sounds like it's working now. All right, looks like we're working now. I'll put it on mute over here behind me. Can you hear me now? Let me know. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it sounds like you can hear me. I'm going to... Okay, we can hear me now? All right, wonderful. Sorry about that. Boy, you know, old people and technology. Does it sound okay? It kind of sounded a little funky on my end, but does it sound okay? I could turn it back on my screen back here, but I'm not going to do that. That's just kind of weird. Well, I'm sorry about that. On my end, on this stream service, it looked like I was getting sound, but guess I wasn't. So we'll go back to what I was talking about before, where I've been since March 25th. We were talking about state bowling here in Texas. I've been really busy with work. I have multiple companies that I own and been doing a lot of work. April is one of the busiest months of my year, and so that took me away from a lot of things that we're doing, including these live streams. But I just want to let you know that I'm still alive, I'm still here, I'm still working, still shooting videos. But on Wednesday nights I've been a little bit busy, so I haven't been able to do a live stream. We had state bowling here in the state of Texas about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Took 2 boys teams and 1 girls team down to Dallas. Our boys teams forgot how to spare, even though we work on that constantly. Our girls team, they're from a little town that's about 2,500 people, and they're competing against the likes of Allen, Texas, which has more people in the school than this whole town has, and they did great. I mean, a lot of first-time bowlers there, and they did very, very well. And then we took 2 boys and 1 girl to the singles competition. Aiden Veretto from Friendship bowled very well, shot 300 one game, and I believe he had 21 strikes in a row going into the next game. Led qualifying, went into match play the next day, and I think he won his first 3 matches and then hit a bad pair. And it really kind of shook him up. He was leaving some stuff that was tough to spare, and it really shook him up, and he proceeded to lose the next 3 matches after that. Was still in first place in total pins because he had a 250 game, a 240 game, and then second to last game he fell to second, and then the last game he fell to third. Did not make it to the final match, but placed third. Absolutely phenomenal job. Aiden Veretto also last week shot 813 here in the youth league. Well, in a youth adult tournament, shot 813. Absolutely amazing. He's a very good bowler. Hope we get him back next year. No guarantees with that, but I think he really should compete in high school bowling at least 1 more year, because he is a junior, but he's old enough to move on if he would like. but he does have the ability to come back one more year and bowl and try to bowl for a state title. We had another young man from Friendship who did extremely well. Then we had one girl that we took down there, and she forgot how to spare. That's always the way. We told them from the get-go that spares were going to win or lose you matches, and she didn't have her first spare until the 14th frame of her three-game qualifying set. So that's wasn't ideal. And then last weekend, I think it was last weekend before last, we had the all-district tournament, which is really cool in the state of Texas. So in a lot of different sports, you have what they call all-district teams. In football, you have an all-district team. Basketball, all these different sports, and it's really just an award. It's an award that you can win. But in bowling, we have an all-district team, but yet we actually take those students and they go compete against the other districts in the state of Texas. And so what you get is the best bowlers from every district in the state of Texas. So all the best under 18 bowlers are under one roof at one time for this tournament. And it is fun to watch. It's we make it certainly an honor. It's an honor to be on this team from our district, and it's an honor for them. And they go and compete hard. Our boys, well, we'll talk about our girls. Our girls, we still had a couple of girls that I think we had one girl that actually had any all-district tournament experience, and then the other four did not, and they really bowled well. They had a great time. They were 107 pins back from making the cut, which in the grand scheme of things is not a whole lot. And so I was very, very proud of them. Our boys did make the cut, first cut, so they made it into Sunday. And they ran into a buzzsaw. So the top 8 teams made the cut that afternoon, and then it's match play. And so we were the 5th position, 5th seed. We had to bowl the 4th seed, and we ran into a buzzsaw. First game was 240 something to 210, and then we flopped lanes, and we would have shot 240, but we had a bowler that threw a few shots in the 10th, shot I think high 210, low 220 to their 196, and so it was 1-1. It was best 2 out of 3. They took the other. We had to flop lanes again. They shot another 240. We shot another 210, and lost in the first round. If we had been bowling any other team, I think the highest game I saw besides what was on our pair was 191. If we had been bowling any other team, we would have advanced. But that's bowling. I mean, it happens. You just kind of run into a buzzsaw sometimes, and so they did. But I'm real proud of them. They did very, very well, both of our teams. So that's where I was 2 weekends ago. And because I was out on the weekends, I really needed to work on Wednesdays, and that's why I couldn't do another live stream. But I wanted to do it today to let you know that I'm still alive. I'm still doing videos, and once my life calms down a little bit, I'll go live a little bit more often. We've had a lot of stuff on the PBA recently. Since I've been on, Boog Kroll, David Kroll, wins his first major. I've bowled in the same building with Boog, and you know he's short, he's small, very, very tiny guy, and I just really I watched him throw the ball, and yeah, he threw it okay, but I didn't really think much of him. And what he's been doing the last 2 years is absolutely amazing. He's very accurate, does throw a few Brooklyns, A lot of rev rate, a lot of power for someone that is as small as he is. But if you watch my daughter bowl, you know that small people can generate power, and he does a great job. And I'm real happy for Bug. Mr. Kroll beating EJ Tackett by 1 pin. Boy, EJ has had a tough year on TV. He's making nearly every show, which probably should get him fairly close to Bowler of the Year, the Chris Schenkel Bowler of the Year again this year. Just hasn't been able to win. He's just making every show. Well, Dawson, I hope to be on the All-District team next year and go to regionals as a single, and ended this year in 12th. Yes, you did. So I hope you can do that. Keep working hard, and you might be one of those people to make all that. And then after that, well, I'm not even actually taking these in order. We had another rookie, Spencer Robarge, win his first title this year. And our third rookie of the year in the PBA, Austin Grammer, also won. So we've got 3 rookies this year. We've got Spencer, Austin, and Brandon Bonta, who won the first tournament of the year. So 3 rookies. And then we have some more first-time titleists. And Zach Wilkins and A.J. Chapman just won their first title in the doubles tournament just this last weekend. Let me talk a little bit about them for a second. I have bowled in and around both of those guys. I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to Zach. Two-handers are kind of a dime a dozen these days. Everybody's throwing it two-handed, so I hadn't really paid attention. I watched him a little bit. I have bowled very close in and around AJ. I mean, he's from the Dallas area, so I've been in several tournaments that AJ has been involved in. And I've always been impressed about how well he threw the ball, and very shocked that he hadn't had a title yet, because he does throw it very well. And he's fun to watch and a very nice guy. Was bowling a tournament, I don't know, a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And AJ was right next to me, and although I don't throw it anywhere near as good as he does, and certainly nowhere near the rev rate, he was kind of but I am accurate. He was kind of watching where I was playing the lane, and got on a pair that he was about to go to, and he was watching and asked me if the lanes were playing as much differently as the way I was playing them, if that's really the truth from one end of the house to the other. And I thought that was pretty cool. It was really nice of him to ask me a question like that. I didn't want to give him the wrong answer, but the answer was yes, they were playing quite a bit differently, and each lane was playing quite a bit differently. And did help him start off a little bit better. He didn't split his first frame like I did, but it was really kind of cool that him asking me questions like that. I felt honored, because he is an absolutely amazing bowler, and he's going to have more titles. He works very hard. I know he practices a lot. He practices a lot with Chris Barnes. I know he looks up to Chris, and he bowls with the spars, the Lavery spars, quite a bit. And I thought it was interesting, though, in the title match you had Zach Wilkins and A.J. Chapman going against Anthony and Sean Lavery Spar, and I know those guys are very good friends. They're kind of bowling the same area. They bowl around each other. They bowl with each other quite a bit, and I believe they travel together sometimes. And so I was interested in what that was going to look like, and how, because the Spar brothers, the twins, they can get a little fiery. They can get real fiery. And I was wondering how AJ and Zach would handle that, being as good of friends with the Spars as they are. Well, I'm assuming they're friends. I see them together quite a bit, and they bowl around each other quite a bit. Um, and it was really good to see Anthony back on the lanes in a PBA event. He's kind of he. They both had some health issues during the COVID. One was more affected than the other, and Anthony's kind of taken some time off from bowling on the tour. Bowled with him. Well, before the state bowling, I went down to Dallas because state was in Dallas in the Euless area, and I went and bowled at the Super Bowl, Plano Super Bowl. They have an event on Friday nights called the Phonetic Fridays. It starts a little bit later, and they have different formats, different oral patterns, and so me and a friend of mine went and bowled that the night before state, which was a bad idea. I'm too old for that. We started at 7 o'clock. We bowled 5 games on 5 different pair with a random jump with 88 people, and we had 8 on a pair. And we did not get finished. I did not get out of the bowling center until about 1 a.m. And it was about an hour from Plano to where we were spending the night. So I didn't get to bed until about 2:30 or 3. And that is tough for an old guy to do. And to make matters worse, I did not bowl very well. I had the front 3 or front 4 in all 5 games. Shot 250 the second game, shot 190 the first game, and then I could not keep from splitting. And after the first few frames, and I tried everything. Tried different bowling balls. I tried different areas of the lane, and just could not. It was just amazing how I would throw a bad shot, and I would pay full penalty for that shot. Let's see. I shot well. I shot 182 the first game, 257 the second game, 194, 199, 199. So I averaged over 200 on it wasn't a very tough pattern. I mean, it was more of a challenge shot than it was a sport shot, but I still averaged over 200, but my highest game was 257, and most of my games were in the 190s. And it's just because I couldn't. I mean, I was paying full penalty for stuff. 7-10 splits, a couple of 4-9s in there. Big 4 in there. I'm kind of looking at my scores here. Oh, here we go. Here was a 4-7, 4-6-7. Oh my goodness. It was just, I would throw a bad shot or what I thought was a good shot, and I would end up paying full penalty for it. So anyway, I had fun. I had a good time. Just was a very late night, and we had to be at the bowling center at 6:30 the next morning for the girls. There was just a dumb decision to go bowl that, but I had a great time. And if you're in the Plano area and want to have some fun and bowl on some sports stuff, you need to look into Phonetic Fridays over at Plano Super Bowl. You've got to get in early. They only have 88 spots. And it fills up. They have a waiting list. So, contact Super Bowl if you want to get in that. It's a lot of fun. I had a great time. And Anthony Lavery Spar was there that night. He was bowling directly to my left. And so I got to walk. Well, that's not true. We flipped lanes. Ended up bowling with him last game where I shot 199. And he did much better than that. Won some money. The other thing that has happened since I have been on, since March 25th was the last time I was on, is HBO had a special produced by Ben Stiller called Born to Bowl. And I want to talk a little bit about that today. It was an interesting documentary. I thought it portrayed the life of a PBA professional really well. The things that they have to go through, the fact that they don't make a ton of money. In the background here we do have the doubles. Zach and AJ going against Santu Havanainen to Havanainen, and Ethan Fiore is Santu's partner. That was interesting. The communication between Ethan and Santu, man, they gave each other a lot of crap, for lack of a better word. Somebody threw a bad shot, the other one let them know about it. So that's one way to go about it. I mean, have fun with your partner. But there's Santu with a big smile on his face. Boy, Ethan he throws it really, really well. But anyway, Zach and AJ end up winning this match. If you haven't watched it, a spoiler alert. Anyway, back to Born to Bowl. So I've watched that. It's a great documentary on the life of a tour player and the things that they're having to go through. And I did enjoy it, but here's my but. And I know Ben Stiller. You've watched his stuff before. You've seen him. You've seen him act. You've seen some of the things that he's done. There's a stigma around bowling recently. Back in in the 60s and 70s and 80s when I grew up, it was a gentleman's sport. I mean, yes, they smoked and yes, they drank, but it was still a gentleman's sport for the most part. And since then, things have kind of changed with bowling, and I was kind of hoping that this Born to Bowl would reduce some of the stigma of some of the things that were going on with bowling and portray it in the best light they possibly could. And that is not what happened. I wish they had cleaned up the language a little bit. There's certain bowlers out there that, a lot of them, and a lot of people in general, their language is less than ideal in my world. And I know this is just me. There's certain words that I won't say, and this documentary was full of that word. And I know these guys bowl for a living. This is how they make their money. And if they don't bowl well, they could go broke. I mean, they're not getting big sponsorship contracts like golf has currently, and golf can thank Tiger Woods for that. So, if they don't win, they don't make any money, and if they don't make any money, they can't come back on tour. It's very difficult. Right now, the highest purse for first place in any of the bowling tournaments is $100,000. Well, that seems like a lot, but you've got 96 bowlers that are bowling in a tournament, and the top one is getting $100,000, and then second place is much lower than that. I mean, they still. I don't really know what second place is, but when you get down to the top 24, guys are winning $3,000 or $4,000. And the tour season is much shorter than it was in the 70s and 80s. The tour season went on for months, most of the year, and there was a lot more tournaments. And so it was a little easier to make a living back in the old days because there was more opportunity. And now they're bowling for 3 or 4 months, and they've got to make all the money that they're going to make for the year in those 3 or 4 months. And if they don't do that, they're going to have to find a job and do things in the summer, in the off season. They'll bowl regionals, but even a regional top prize in a regional is $5,000 to $10,000. A super, you've got super regionals that are $5,000. But you've got to travel, and you've got to have a hotel room, and that's why these guys room with each other. And so it's really difficult. And these guys, they come up to our area and they bowl. We have tournaments that you can win $1,000, $1,500, $750, and these guys bowl all year long and travel for $750 a weekend, and it's really hard to make a living like that. I know that the Phonetic Friday in Plano, I think the top prize for first place was $750. And you can get in some Calcuttas and win some money that way, but it's tough to make a living if you do not earn your money on tour. So showing that part of the life from Born to Bowl, I get it. I just wish they would have worked on, this should have been an event to promote bowling. And you're still showing guys with bad language and bad attitudes, and I just wished it was different and better. I don't know why I thought it would be based on who was producing that, but I wanted something different. Big Johnson, every golfer should kiss Tiger Woods' feet. Back in the 70s, a bowling tournament and a golf tournament paid about the same. That is correct. And I don't know, I mean, bowling was big in the 70s, and I've said this, and they even pointed this out in Born to Bowl, that in the 70s, bowling had more viewership than the NFL and the PGA. Bowling was the number one sport on television. Basketball wasn't even anywhere close. Hockey obviously wasn't. Football was coming up, but football still had less viewership. Bowling was it. And every Saturday, it was must-see TV to watch the bowlers bowl. And I watched all those guys, and just it was must-see TV for me and my father. Bonded with my father, or sitting beneath his chair watching the likes of Bo Burton bowling and Pete Weber was coming up in the late 70s, and my favorite, you guys know who my favorite is, I've said it multiple times, Earl Anthony and Mark Roth and Marshall Holman. And one of the things we bowled the all-district tournament at City View Lanes, and Del Ballard, who was big in the 70s and 80s as a bowler, owns one of the pro shops there at City View, and I was hoping to get to see him and talk to him again, or at least say hello. Big fan of his, and I remember the first time I met him. I don't know if I mentioned this on live stream before, but the first time I met him, I was at City View Lanes, and he had his bowling academy there. And I was down on that end watching actually some pros who were practicing in his academy, and he walked by me. And as I walked by him, I said, "You're Del Ballard." And he looked at me and he said, "Yes, I am." And then he continued to walk on. So they either room with others on tour or use travel trailers to avoid room rental. I grew up watching the ABC PBA on Saturday afternoon before the wild world of sports and the agony of defeat. Yeah, I remember that as well. Not a lot of them use RVs anymore. Back in the old days, they did. They used to circle the RVs out in the parking lot, and all the guys that were in the RVs would hang out with each other at night. But not too many of the bowlers use RVs anymore. At least what I have seen. They're staying in Airbnbs, getting 5 or 6 guys to go in on an Airbnb to really get the price down. I don't know. What's the hardest part about bowling being over 50? And I'm 44 with a bad back and left leg, so I got no future. I'm sorry. Let me. I'm having a little trouble with this chat. It's not. Maybe I need to hit that button. There we go. What's the hardest part about being over 50? I'm 44 with a bad back and left leg, so I've got no future. I don't know about that. What's the hardest part? Lack of rev rate, continuing lower ball speeds. Those seems to be the things that I'm getting the most comments on. I don't know. I'm still bowling pretty well. I am over 44. I'm over 50. I'm under 60 though, but I'm over 50. And I tell people all the time. They ask, I had to do this video bowling over 50, and they ask me, you can't be over 50. Well, I tell them if you had a balloon that had no air in it, it looks a little wrinkled and crinkled. If you put air in that, it smooths out the wrinkles. Well, I'm fat and I smooth out the wrinkles. So I look a whole lot. Plus, my hair here doesn't have a whole lot of gray in it. Now, my gray is right here. So I do have gray in the beard, just don't have a lot of gray in the hair. But I am well over 50. And I'm still bowling pretty well. I'm actually bowling better at my age now than I was 7 years ago. I'm continuing to get better, and it's because, and it's the whole reason why I started this channel, is I am trying different things to improve. Some are working and some are not, and I wanted to do this channel to help those bowlers that, instead of going through the things that I'm going through and the failures that I'm going through, I'm trying to help people with the things that are actually working. I'm getting a lot of beginning bowlers to the channel, which I think is absolutely great, which means I kind of want to change the name of this channel to not bowling over 50 to bowling, I don't know. I haven't come up with anything. That's why I haven't changed it. But you can improve. There's things that you can do. I'm showing these videos. I'm showing drills. There's a lot of people out there that don't like doing drills, that don't like to practice, and you do have to practice to get better. You can't just go bowl in league and expect to get better fast. Now, you can try some of the things that I'm teaching in league and maybe improve over time in incremental amounts, but really you've got to go and find some time and get on the lanes and actually work on some of these things that I've been talking about. But you can improve. I averaged under 220 last year, and I am averaging well over 220 this year. I shot 695 on Monday. Shot seven. We'll have to look. I don't want to lie to you. By the way, one of the things that I use, I keep track of my stats. I'm not being endorsed by this company, but this Pin Pal works. There's a lot of different things out there. There's a 10-pin toolkit that I've heard is very good. There's a few other apps out there. This is the one I started using many years ago. And so I keep track of all my stats, so you can ask me anything. Let's see, Monday night I shot 695. I shot 633 on Thursday. The week before that I shot 741. What about my Monday? Shot 721 a couple weeks back on Monday night with a 277. Yeah, we probably should talk about my 277 from a couple of nights ago. That was absolutely embarrassing. So I'll talk about my 277 here in just adjusting my expectations. Oh, don't adjust your expectations. I mean, yes, when you're getting older, if you don't plan on practicing, then I guess you do need to adjust your expectations. But if there are ways to improve. I say it's like riding a bike until you start losing your sense of balance. That is a problem. Here, one of the things that I've got going on right now is I've been working pretty hard and actually doing some manual labor and trying to not eat as much, and so I've been getting a little weaker. And after I've spent a long day of actually doing some manual labor, which, Lord, I don't like that, I am having trouble walking straight. I am so used to whatever board I start on, I finish on for the most part. I've got a little bit of drift as I move left on the lane, but if I'm in my normal spot, I don't drift at all. I have to compensate for that if I have to get way left. But lately, it's been moving all over the place. And then trying to get yourself back lined up. And I take one step to the side and then try to get myself back lined up. And I should just stop, which when you get over 50, that's hard to do. Once you get started, you kind of want to finish it. Once your momentum's going forward, it's difficult to stop. So I have been kind of bobbing and weaving all over the place and really struggling with that the last month or so. No, my daughter has not gotten her ring yet. Boy, I hope we get it pretty soon. It takes 6 to 8 weeks is kind of what they tell you. So I'm hoping she gets it pretty soon. She's very anxious for that. Bowling life, just a thought. Oh, let's see. Yo, come up with something. Oh, bowling life. Oh, as a name? That's not bad. I like that. Let's talk. I'm gonna circle back to that. Head's Guide to Bowling. I'm not sure about that. I want to come to you. I'm not sure I understand that comment. This channel will be mostly about education. And it kind of will always be that way. I have tried to do some things that are a little more fun to watch. I don't bowl enough tournaments to vlog those tournaments, and I'm not even real sure you want to watch that mess anyway. So I will be still doing some things with my daughter and some of my friends and some of the better bowlers around here. I'm considering also doing some live lessons on video so you can see when I'm coaching other people, some of the things that you may be doing that, when you watch me coach somebody else might be helpful. So this channel will always be about education. It will always be about how to bowl better. Right now, what I am doing is kind of going through my clinic. You've gotten a real big dose of my clinic in where I start at the foul line and then I work my way back on the approach, and now we're starting to move back to a full approach, which we started doing that with the crossover step and some other videos. So we're moving back towards the foul line. And so you've gotten a heavy dose of my clinic. So from here on in, it's going to be little things. It's going to be, we still have a bunch of overall view of bowling videos still to do, but as this goes on, it's going to be starting to get a little bit more fine-tuned. We'll probably have to reshoot some of my older videos to keep people fresh, because some people are not going back and watching a video I did 50 videos ago. So I am going to have to bring some of that back and redo those in different ways. But this channel is about helping people get better and coaching. And so that's what this will always be about. On the plane, headed to Nationals. Oh, wait, good luck at Nationals. I heard it's tough. It normally is tough. So have fun and good bowling. Yeah, I'm probably going to show some lessons. Good luck, Ronnie. Yep, good luck, Ronnie. I hope you do really well. I don't know if I'm going to bowl Nationals this year. Just work is really kind of smacking me in the face. How many balls is Ronnie taking to Nationals? Well, I think you can only check 6. So if he's on a plane, he's probably only bringing 6. Um, or is no, I think you can bring 6, right? Um, I know at junior gold you can only bring 5, which when we go, you could practice with as many as you want, but you can only check in 5. Excuse me. So we may change the name at some point in time. I've got a new logo. You can kind of see it in the back that I've kind of been playing with. And hitting my first logo, I thought it would be cool to go old school bowling. But with all the new beginning bowlers that are coming to the channel and asking me questions, they're younger bowlers, I might want to freshen that logo up just a little bit and make it a little bit more newer. 5, 6, and a mix. Yep. Taking 6, taking 5 strike balls in a mix, which is what I would do. If you're going to nationals and you have, there's going to be a bunch of videos out from other people. Since I'm currently not going, there'll be a bunch of videos out of what balls that they're taking. But here's kind of my rule. And I've mentioned this before on the live. I'm going to take a big ASIM, a Pearl ASIM. I'm going to take a solid SIM, a symmetrical ball, and a shiny symmetrical ball. And I won't take one with a small core. I'm going to take a shiny symmetrical ball with a big core. I will take a urethane, and I will take a I think you can still throw urethane, but it's going to be a 78, maybe. I may be wrong about that. I haven't looked at the rules. But if I can't take a 78 or a urethane ball, then I'm going to take my favorite ball, whichever one that is at that moment, and that will be my 5 plus a spare ball. And so that would be the 6 balls that I would take. Again, that's a solid ASIM, a shiny ASIM, a dull, solid symmetrical ball with a big core, and a big core symmetrical ball that's shiny. And there's my 4. If I can take a urethane, I'm going to take that, and I will be taking a spare ball. And there's a couple reasons why I would take a urethane. One, it may come into play, and I like to play straight, and I like to play up against the gutter, not at the gutter, but up against the gutter, and urethane usually works really well for that. But if anybody's listening that knows anything about my pro experience, everybody kind of knows that I have trouble with spare balls. I break spare balls. Bowled in a PBA event one year, and I had a storm. This was when I was bowling with Storm. Had a Storm at Nation Invisiball, and I threw one shot and cracked out the bridge, and threw the next shot. And if you've seen my spare videos, I throw it dead over the fingers and the thumb. The thumb hit the pins and broke the thumb out, and it was too sharp for me to use. So I always bring 2 spare balls to a PBA event. So I went and got my backup spare ball, and the second time I threw it, that ball split in half, and I had to bowl the rest of the tournament with a urethane ball as a spare ball. And that is not the first time that something like that has happened to me. I also was at a PBA event one time where I was bowling one night in one city and had to drive and go bowl another night in another city, and somebody in that house thought my spare ball was their spare ball, grabbed my spare ball, put it in their bag, and left, was not going to the event I was going to. And then when I got there and had to throw my very first spare shot, the span was extremely small. So, okay, Big Johnson says, yes, Brunswick took a new purple hammer. he took, I guess, Brunswick, he took a new purple hammer, 78U. Don't have one yet, but I will be getting one. Have no fear. Although I do like the black one, the black pearl, I will be getting a new purple hammer at some point in time, hopefully before the summer, because I'll have a bunch of tournaments this summer, and I do really well with urethane. But that's the other reason why I'd like to take a urethane to nationals, is because most likely, with my luck, I'm going to break a spare ball. And the one I've got right now, the thumb is cracked out on it, and it's not even a year old. So, pearl, just in case we go to another house. Gotcha. Concept. Let's see. Ronnie's taking a concept. Ooh, that ball is so unique. Man, I hope Brunswick comes out with something very similar to that very soon. Effect Tour Phase 2, Motive Onyx, and Phase 2 Pearl. Well, my daughter loves the Phase 2, so that's what she shot 800 with, was her Phase 2. Matter of fact, she really wants me to buy her another one. She needs to go earn it on her own. All right, so we've kind of gone through the chat. Since our last, we've had a bunch of videos come out. The first one to come out since I was live was the one-step drill. And I had a comment today from someone that made a really good point, and a point that I did not make during that video, which is right after that we had a video called the crossover step, and how you want to make sure that you're getting your body around the ball and not the ball around your body. I see that a lot in bowlers that are over 50 years old that are having trouble getting to the line, and so they're swinging the ball around their body and they're wondering why they're inaccurate. It's really hard to be accurate when your arm swing is not straight. So the crossover step is what you use to make sure that your arm swing is straight. But the comment on the one-step drill that I had was, if you're standing side by side, you're not doing a crossover step, and aren't you hitting your body when you swing the ball? The answer to that is yes. One of the things I failed to mention in that video, I did say to start, when you're doing that drill, to start in the position that you start your approach with. And for me, I start my approach with my right foot behind my left foot. Go back and watch the video. So it never dawned on me that this was a problem for other people. But because my right foot is behind my left foot, I'm kind of getting my hip a little out of the way of my arm swing for that drill. Now, I will brush the side of my leg occasionally when I do that. And actually, when I'm doing it very well, I am brushing my pant leg just barely. Oops, sorry about that. I will turn the ringer off. I am brushing my pant leg just a little bit if I'm doing it well. So if I ever redo that video, and I'm sure I would, because there's going to be things I need to add, but it could be a year from now, I will make sure I make that point that if you're doing that drill, make sure you get your right foot behind your left foot so your hip gets kind of out of the way, and at least your leg is getting out of the way of that drill. Oh, my light went off. I'm hoping that you're using that drill, that because it is, I think it's the number one drill. If you're going to do drills, the one-step drill is the one drill that I would do. There are people out there, I don't know if you're having trouble seeing me. Let me see if I can get this back on. I'm going to have to move this. Oh, goodness gracious. Technology. All right. Yeah, goodness. Okay. Try to get this back to where it was. Okay, light back on. All right. If you are going to do one drill, the one-step drill is the one to use because you can work on a lot of different things. You can work on hand position, and you can work on balance, and it's basically a power step and working on driving that leg towards the foul line. One of the videos that we will have coming up in the next month or so is my theory and my main thing that I want to talk about with the approach is that I believe bowling is 80 to 85% lower body and 15 to 20% upper body. Everybody wants to talk about the release, and I get questions upon questions about how to release the bowling ball, and they want to see my release. And my release is not all that great, in my opinion. It's okay, but I still don't have a lot of revs, and ultimately there's not a ton I can do about that. I mean, I can improve marginally, but just can't do big improvements on rev rate. But the lower body in bowling is the most important part, not your upper body. In bowling over 50, if you're 50 years old, most of what you need to be doing is letting gravity do the work on your upper body part, but work on what's going on below and making sure your approach is the way it needs to be. And so I will be doing a lot of videos coming up in the next month or two, after probably May, and focusing on what's going on with your legs and getting your approach right, because I believe it to be the most important thing. If you have good leverage and you make a good approach, and it allows you to be very free swinging with your arm and making sure your arm is swinging on the correct plane, your release almost becomes natural. It becomes something that's just a part of you. And even if you don't have a ton of rev rate and you don't ever want to generate that kind of rev rate, which I don't blame you one bit, you're still going to be accurate, but it's going to take your lower body to do that. So that will be coming out again, probably May. June probably is when we'll be really digging into the approach. We've had a couple of videos out, getting your swing started correctly, and getting your approach started correctly. So those videos are out, but we're going to dive deep into the approach itself. So let's see, hopefully I can start bowling again soon. I had this stent put in the end of March, and 10 days later had another stroke affecting my right arm and leg this time. I am currently teaching a guy right now who many years ago had a stroke, and he's got a brace on his left leg, and he can't really use his left arm very well. And so teaching him to bowl, he's right-handed anyway, but teaching him how to bowl, never bowled before, and he just had his very first 200 just recently. He can't wear bowling shoes because of the brace that he wears. He has to have a special shoe because of his stroke. So, yes, I believe we can get you there. And if not, you need to find yourself a coach in your area that can help you with that. And worst case scenario, watch my one-step drill videos, and maybe you'll be able to do something very similar to that. And just get out on the lanes and have fun, because bowling's fun. Well, Big Johnson's, I've been set back in my recovery. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're still with me, Big Johnson. I'm glad you're still watching my videos and learning. And I hate the fact that you're having so many problems. I really do hate that. Is that recent? Had a stent put in the end of March. Okay, March, April. Yeah, 10 days later. So this is recent. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. So we had the one-step drill, the crossover step. Leave the head pin. Okay. So we had the leave the head pin drill. It's not really a drill. It's just it's a way to practice And so I encourage you to watch that. It's one of my favorite practice routines because it makes you become creative. If you all, I've been bowling long enough that I have certain ways that I pick up different spares. And so when I see a spare, I know I'm going to stand here, throw there. But to make sure that I'm good in that area, I need to learn how to be creative. And that's what the leave the head pin drill is for, as well as low ball. It just helps you become creative. There's the Spar brothers back in there in the back. The Lavery. I've always called them Lavery Spar, but it's Lavery Spar. So watch that video. It is one to help you get real creative with your spares, and then if you are left with something that's unique, it's going to help you, visualize what you need to do to pick up that spare and pick up spares in different ways. Love that drill. It's my favorite spare shooting drill. I need to do more low ball than I do that drill because I'm still, even though I did a 10-pin video and it looks like I know what I'm doing, I can get in the weeds when it comes to 10 pins very, very easily. Oh, well, I was wondering about that, and I thought I was going to get to see you, Big Johnson, at State. I was kind of looking forward to that, or at City View, so now I know why. I'm very sorry to hear that you're having problems. Then the next video we did was an around the world. Again, it's another, it's not a drill. I would not call that a drill. I call it a practice routine, something that will help you get creative with your practice. Going and just bowling games are what I tell my students, my high school students, just don't go into a bowling center and throw rocks. Go in with a purpose. Go in with something that you're trying to work on, or one of these games that I play that, leave the head pin, or this around the world is great for being versatile. Just edited a video that will come out in May. Well, no. I think the video that comes out actually tomorrow. I was doing a short on it because I had forgotten to do one. And I was looking at that video, and that's playing a house shot inside and outside. And the around the world video helps you with when you need to stop playing the outside part of the lane and play the inside part of the lane. And that drill, that practice routine, helps you do that a little easier. So again, all my videos link. I can't do one video to cover everything, so we're kind of taking them in order. And so you got to go back and watch. If I refer you back to another video, you probably ought to go watch that one first before you finish up the video that we're doing, because everything is linked. It is all in a certain order that makes sense in how to get better. So make sure you're good with one video before you move on to the next. And then lane adjustments. That goes back to around the world. That ties in with that. Once you've gotten lined up, how to make lane adjustments in that spot that you're trying to get in. And that's what that video was about. I did do a gutter drill. It's a release drill that I am currently working on, trying to get a little bit better. If you have not seen that one yet, you need to go and watch it. Got in a fairly decent argument with one of our members that was watching the channel, and he didn't understand why I was in the gutter. And here's the reason. At my center, and most centers, they wipe the first 6 to 8 inches after the foul line. They wipe that off. They don't want any oil there because open play bowlers tend to foul a lot, and if they get across that line, they don't want them to fall. it's a hazard. It's a liability. So most houses will wipe off the first 6 to 8 inches after the foul line. So if you want the ball to spin and not get away from you, because what you're doing is releasing that ball down onto the lane. If you don't want that ball to get away from you, you need to put that ball in some oil. And you can't really do it on the approach because there's no oil, there's a lot of friction, and you spin that ball's going to get away from you. And I'm too old to be chasing bowling balls down the lane. And so I get out on the lane where there's some oil and let the ball spin. That way the ball doesn't get away from me. And that drill is one I'm going to be doing a whole lot more, because I'm still working on my rev rate. I still think I can add a few, and so I'm still working on that drill. When I shoot these videos and I watch them back, I'm always seeing things that I want to improve on. Not going to mention them to you guys, but it's things that I feel like I need to improve on, and so I will be doing videos on those things that I see when I'm shooting these other videos on how to get better. Because even though I'm bowling really well right now, oh, you can see me in the background. That's crazy. Even though I'm bowling really well right now, I can still improve. And I'm a competitor. Bowling for me, well, I'll say it like this. I talked to a friend today who was a bowler, and there's been some shakeup in our town, and people moving centers and doing different things. And he's a really good bowler. Matter of fact, he was on tour back in the 80s, I believe. Good friends with Wes Malott. I know they're great friends. And I was talking with him today, and I hadn't seen him lately. And he's having knee problems and needs a knee replacement, but work is kind of smacking him in the face, and he's unable to get his knee fixed because he's still got to work. And even though getting your knee replaced, you can get up on your feet pretty fast, he just doesn't have that kind of time. And so, but one of the things I asked him, I said, "Are you missing bowling?" And he said, "Not really missing bowling, but I miss competing." And I thought that was very telling. That's exactly right. I like to compete. I mean, I don't care what it is. Right, for me right now in my life, it's bowling. And every time I go to league, I'm in competition with the people I'm bowling with and against. And that's what I love. I love the competition. And so, because I love the competition, I love to win. I don't like to lose. As a matter of fact, I tell students this all the time. I hate to lose more than I like winning. And if you like winning and you wrap your whole life around winning, bowling is not the sport for you, because you're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose a lot more than you win. But I love being in the competition. I will bowl regionals against the kids, which is what I call them. Not to win them, because I know better. I mean, it's hard to compete with the Spar brothers. I can't. They have a lot more rev rate, and they're really good. But I like to get in there and mix it up and see what I can do against them. So I'm going to continue to practice, and I'm going to continue to get better, and I hope I'm better next year than I am this year. And so that's what this channel is all about. So yeah, I will be working on this gutter drill that one of the last videos that I showed. We also have a 3-ball challenge, and I'm going to do more of those 3-ball challenges, because probably should be doing some right now as people are getting ready to go to nationals. So you understand the 3-ball challenge that I do is specifically designed to learn your equipment and how your equipment responds in various areas of the lane. And so, I want to throw a big ASIM ball from this spot to that spot, and then I want to take a big symmetrical ball and throw it in the exact same spot. And what does that ball do? and how does it compare? And then after I do that, I want to get lined up with it so I can strike. And then once I've struck with that, I'm going to go to another ball and throw it in the exact same place, and how does it respond compared to the other two balls I've already thrown, and then get lined up with it. The 3-ball challenge is something I do a ton. If you watch, and I've done this one time, was blessed, was watching Chris Barnes practice, and he took, I don't know, 9 or 10 bowling balls and put them on the rack. And every shot he threw a different ball, and he threw it from a different area of the lane. And he was getting to know his equipment and getting to figure out what this ball does different than another ball. And then he would move back and forth, switching balls every time, just watching balls go down the lane to learn his equipment. And it's a great way to get lined up. It's a great way to work on hand positions, but it is a great way to learn your equipment and know what each of your balls do. And that's why the 3-ball challenge will be coming out many times in the future, because you've got to learn what each ball does. And just looking at numbers is not going to help you. Big Johnson, I couldn't drive for a couple of weeks. I just started back walking around the neighborhood last week. Good. But can only do about half of what I was able to do before the stint. Well, prayers for a quicker recovery. And then the last video that came out was the full approach video, so I was right. And so the one that comes out tomorrow is house shot, playing inside and outside, and how I go about making that switch when I have to make that switch, and why I make that switch. And AJ and Zach back here in the back, you can see them, they just won. So this is a great opportunity to maybe sign off from this. So I hope everybody watches the next video. I think learning how to play inside, and then if you're gonna, outside, and then if you've got to make a move to the inside, how I go about doing that. Getting old sucks. Getting old is not for the weak. You got to be double tough to get old. And to be honest with everybody, there is going to be a time very soon that I'm going to have to figure out how to shoot different kinds of videos, because I am going to have shoulder surgery. Still not sure how long I'm going to be out. I'm going to try to shoot a ton of videos before that. I've got some people that are willing to help me bust out as many videos as I can before I have this surgery, but I will probably do some coaching videos during that interim. But I am going to have shoulder surgery. It is not something that is affecting my bowling too much, although it did affect me Monday night. First time it actually hurt to bowl. I think you'll see a video in a couple of weeks where I throw a shot and I went, whoa, that hurt. But normally it doesn't affect my bowling. Monday night it did. It's affecting my sleeping. I'm having trouble sleeping because my arm is really hurting. I can't really have this surgery until June, which hopefully will give me some time to shoot a bunch of videos. But I have got something torn in this shoulder right here, and it does hurt, and so I will be doing something very soon to get that corrected. And so yes, getting old sucks. I didn't hurt it bowling. I hurt it the dumbest way possible. I've been lifting weights, trying to lose some weight, and overdid it just a little bit, so I got something torn in there. I am using a 15-pound ball. That we're gonna do a video soon on 14s versus 15s. And I've had a couple of comments, and I've made some comments about 14 versus 15. I will not go down to 13 because the core in a 13-pound ball is different than the cores in 14s and 15s. Again, the shoulder doesn't hurt throwing a 15-pound ball because I don't use any muscle. This 80-20 rule, for me, it's probably more like 90-10. It's about my legs. It's not about muscle. All I have to do is get the ball swinging. Once I've got the ball swinging, muscle is not an issue. Well, okay. So let's talk about, I mentioned this earlier that I shot not, oh, it was a couple of weeks ago. Was it a week ago? It was a week ago. I shot a 277. I had the front 9, and about 3 weeks before that, I had the front 11, and I haven't had a 300 this year. And so I was a little nervous, and I took my time. I did all the things that I know to do. I was breathing. I was trying to relax. And right before I got out to throw the 12th one, I told myself, you can miss left. You just can't miss right. It's just the dumbest mental thought to have was that I can't miss right on this lane. I can only miss left. And so I grabbed a hold of this bowling ball right at the last second, and I pulled it dead left, shot 298. So I guess it was last week, or it's been within the last 10 days. I had the front 9, and I didn't like my look on the lane that I was coming onto, and so I was going to make a small little move. I was going to make a 1.5 move, one with my feet to the left and a half. And I told myself to relax. Just don't do what I did, 3 or 4 weeks ago where I grabbed a hold of it. Just relax. Well, I did exactly what I told myself I wanted to do. I relaxed, and boy, did I relax. I almost threw the ball backwards. It landed next to my slide foot. I mean, I was very relaxed, and I got 7, shot 277. The dumbest thing ever. I'm just struggling to get that 300 this year. I haven't had an 800 in a while, but the 300 is eluding me. This year I've had a 299, a 298, and I don't know how many 279s. Too many to count. I've had 48 279s in the last 5 years because I am a mental midget. But anyway, it was just funny. It is funny what the mind can tell the body to do. If you tell yourself you can miss left, you can't miss right, what are you going to do? Grab a hold and miss it way left. Tell your body to relax. Your body relaxes maybe too much, and you almost throw the ball backwards. The mental game is where I struggle, to be frankly honest with you. All right. Well, we've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes. It's about time to get off. Man, I appreciate everybody that is watching these videos. We've been getting 200 or 300 people watching the live. I just want everybody to know that I'm a real person, give people the opportunity to ask me questions about any of the videos that I've done, if they want to hear me speak about it a little bit more than what I'm doing in the comments. And I'm giving the opportunity for my critics to get on here and give me crap if they want to. I mean, I'm the only one talking, but if they want to try to make me feel stupid, go for it. And so that's why I'm doing these lives. I think they're fun. I can talk about a few things. I can give more details in this than I can in my videos. Especially, I'm still learning this whole video thing. And I am trying to express all the thoughts that I have about a particular subject, but they're unscripted. It's just me talking. And I miss some things, and I make mistakes, and hopefully the general idea of what I'm trying to get across with the drills and how to score better and how to be a better bowler, those are all correct. I am watching the videos as I'm editing them, so I am correct there, but there's more that I could add. There's more that I could do, and this live will give me the opportunity to do that. After May, starting here in June, I plan on doing a little bit more consistent lives. So yeah, it hurts when you have a perfect shot and leave a stone 9, or I can't read that, or an 8-pin. Oh yeah, this is very, very true. Most of my 279s though are not that. Most of my 279s come in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th frame, something like that, and then I strike out. I rarely have one in the 8th or 9th. I have had one in the 10th though, for a 279 or 277 when I tried to throw it backwards. All right, guys. Let's see. Next week. What is next week? I will not be on next week on Wednesday. Be getting ready for a regional track and field. Got a couple of different places I have to be. So I will try to go back live second week in May. So I hope you guys will come back and watch me then. Big Johnson, I want you to get well, and so you can get back out on the lanes and watch the videos. Take some of the stuff to heart. I know this stuff works because it's been tested by me, and I'm having fun with this channel, which is the main thing. And the main thing for me is to help bowlers get better, especially bowlers my age. That's my whole goal with this, is to put things out there that help you improve and learn. So I hope you do that. Enjoy the video that comes out tomorrow. I think it's a really good one. And then we have on Monday, we have a video with me and my daughter again. So you'll need to stay tuned and watch that. Man, she can bowl. She had me first two games Monday night, and then I shoot 250 and she shoots 170. So still had a better series than her. But she beat me the first 2 games. Anyway, so that video will be coming out on Monday with my daughter. If you want to watch her bowl, she's amazing. And we will see you real soon. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this is Bowling Over 50. I want you guys to go out there, have fun, and good bowling.